Greetings, conscious gearheads. It's your girl Charlotte, and today, y'all ain't gonna believe it, I stumbled across this article where it was like, sitting is the new smoking. And I was like, oh, because I know two things. First of all, I used to smoke many years ago, and it took everything in me to quit. Woo, Lord have mercy. I am not gonna lie. It took everything in me to quit. And then also I thought about it, and I have been thinking about this over the years, and I knew this too before I really started on my own physical health journey, that I lead a very sedentary lifestyle. And it's, you know, a lot of times when you're working in for these employers, you know, you're working on projects, you're working on stuff, you could just find yourself coming in the morning, and at the end of the day, you're like, man, I barely went up to use the bathroom. Maybe barely got up to take something to the microwave and eat something. But how easy it is to kind of end up just transition into this moment in time where you've sat the whole day. You just somehow, by the grace of God, you somehow sat the whole day. And so this article really struck me because I said, you know, that was one of my early concerns when I started being physically active, is that I had been leading a very sedentary lifestyle. And it's interesting now, it's been almost over 10 years since I made that awareness about myself, that, oh, the research is bearing it out. That, you know, us sitting around for hours and hours and hours is probably not the best thing for us as humans. So like I said, I stumbled on this article, and I just kind of want to talk about a couple little things. I want to dig in just a little bit. You know, one of the things it says is that as a result of having a sedentary lifestyle, which I think we need to understand too, is that I think it's one thing to have a sedentary lifestyle, yet maybe in the morning or in the evenings you work out. I'm that way. Like a lot of times I'll do long runs in the morning, or maybe I'll go do some physical activity, join some boot camp classes, whatever the case may be, in the evening. And so kind of having that sedentary lifestyle in terms of work may not be, I might not suffer from as many health risks because I am engaging in physical activity at the start of the day or at the end of the day. But however, they're saying that prolonged sitting is linked to cardiovascular disease, y'all. Obesity, of course, if you're sitting around, you're not using any energy, of course you're gonna gain weight. That's just, you know, 2 + 2. And then diabetes, which is interesting. They talked a little bit about this, but you know, it just makes sense based on metabolic disorders, based on, you know, what's happening in the body around insulin, that, you know, you can see where, it could lead to diabetes, right? And then one of the things it said, which I thought was so interesting, because I come from a generation of women that lived into their 90s. And so it said early mortality. So, you know, if we're leading these sedentary lifestyles, we may, you know, check out earlier, you know, because we're not really doing a lot. So that was some interesting things to think about. And I want you guys to think about it too. Like, what is my sedentary lifestyle? Do I have a sedentary lifestyle? Am I exercising in the start or the middle or the end of the day? And then also just thinking about it as it relates to maybe some of the comorbidities that you may already have, like me. Like I had high blood pressure, high cholesterol, borderline diabetic, you know, I'm overweight. So how is this contributing to my health, and how can I do something about it so that I don't have to suffer these health risks? Okay, and so the second thing I wanted to bring out is metabolic impact. I just talked a lot about that, so I'm not gonna talk a lot about it, but just think about it. Like, if this is impacting your metabolic system, then what's happening is, right, you're having lower metabolism. And if you're having lower metabolism, it means that you are not processing the sugar and fat in your body. And so as a result, of course, it starts to contribute to these other ailments that happens to the general public. And so again, you know, this is probably not true for people that exercise in the morning, or exercise in the middle of the day, or exercise at the end of the day. They're kind of disrupting their bodies in terms of it being a sedentary lifestyle. It's saying, no, we're physically active sometimes, but for those of us that, you know, aren't doing any physical activity and we're leading a sedentary lifestyle, whoo, it probably is impacting our metabolism. And we're probably wondering why, like, I don't eat a lot of food, but why I continue to gain weight. This is why. Because you're sitting down all day long, which means you're not burning a lot of energy. So whatever, even if you ain't eating that much food, well, some of it still is being stored as energy in the form of fat cells. So yeah, it can impact your metabolism. So just remember when you're thinking about this, which I understand is a hard thing to think about. But I'm here to tell you there's good news, baby. Good news. And that is we can disrupt this, right? We can. I think it's hard to not have a sedentary lifestyle, particularly if you work an office job, right? It's not like people requiring you to stand up to do your work, because most of the work that you're doing is at your desk and you're sitting down. But there are some ways in which you can kind of shift the body, shift things along, be less sedentary. And so I recommend 3 things. Number 1 is try to find moments when you can just get up and move, stretch, bend over, maybe strike a yoga pose, whatever the case may be. Because I do think, I used to have a timer in my, because I remember at one time, you know, I used to think, oh my God, I'd be sitting here for 7 hours, right? And I put a timer on, and so every 90 minutes it would go off, and my job was just to do something. So a lot of times my something was just get up, maybe walk around the office a little bit and come back. Sometimes I would walk around the whole building and come back. Sometimes I would walk up these 7 flights of stairs and come back down, just to kind of disrupt things, get the blood flowing, let my body know that no, I'm just not sitting here. Don't be trying to do that to me. So finding moments, I tell people also too, like, when you're on your way to work, like, instead of parking in the front park in the back park so you can walk the distance. Also, just use a space that you have. I have been in offices, I have been blessed to have kind of nice offices. And sometimes I just will walk around the office 5, 10 times, right? It ain't that much space, but it's enough for me to walk a little circle and for me to start pumping my blood and get me moving. Secondly, if you have a standing desk, and I've been blessed, man, the last several jobs, to have a standing desk. Now, I don't stand at it all day, but I do spend moments. Like, again, I put a little timer and I say, okay, 90 minutes, 2 or 3 times a day, I'm standing at my desk working on my stuff. And I love it too. I love it. There's something about standing at your desk. It does feel, I do feel like, I don't know, I'm accomplishing a little bit more than I, probably than I am. But if you have a standing desk, or have the capacity to have a standing desk, or have one of those kind of desk things that will raise your computer, laptop up, and that way you stand up and then you can work on your work. That's the perfect thing to do. And then the second thing I would say is, you know, as I mentioned before, just find opportunities to do little spurts of energy. Like, do 10 jumping jacks, do 10 sit-ups, do 10, I do wall push-ups. I do those what are those bicep things on the chair where you go up and down with your arms like this. Sometimes I'll just sit on my chair and just raise my legs, right? Just raise the legs 10, 15 times. Sometimes I just do little, like, up and down and around and bicep curls 10, 20 times. Again, you're just trying to tell your body, look, I am being physically active. I know I'm sitting on my behind and I know it's been hours, but please know and trust and believe that I am being physically active. I want to be healthy and I want to live. So, fam, look, sitting. Look, if all you doing is sitting, y'all, that's the new smoking. My thing is, woo, to really, I'll be honest with y'all, to think for one moment that I could be smoking, like, my sitting every day, all day long is equivalent to smoking a cigarette. Ooh, that scares me. I ain't gonna lie, that scares me. I hope it scares you too, and I hope it scares you into it, at least a little something throughout the day, to make sure that your body is not going, just to make sure that your body feels better. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I appreciate you. Stay tuned, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace and love, family. Take good care of yourself. Bye-bye.